It's been a year since my last process video, so I thought maybe it was time to do an update since, you know, my process changes probably every month. I guess I'm still someone who is trying to find their art style. I now know how I want to draw, I just don't know the techniques that I want to use to achieve the feeling that I want in my drawings. So that is where I'm at right now. And I found that with digital art, I didn't like how artificial it felt, especially with the line art. So I decided, hey, why don't I do traditional art and just bring it onto digital? And originally I had no idea how to do that without a scanner, but it's actually really easy if you have Clip Studio Paint. I believe there are tutorials on how to do it on Critter and Medibang, but I don't know how to do that. I'm really sorry. I just know Clip Studio Paint, and I will tell you how to do that. I was just stuck with my line art for digital, and I was like, this isn't looking how I want it to. And then as soon as I did it with traditional art, I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been lacking. And so when you're done with your picture, you then take a picture of it, crop it to how you want it to look. Try your best to make the paper look as white as possible, and then go on to Clip Studio Paint, and then click on Edit, and then go down to Convert Brightness to Opacity, and you can do this on Clip Studio Paint X and Clip Studio Paint Pro. And then you basically just have your pencil line art and a bit of texture from the paper, which some people might not like, but I really, really appreciate that in my art because texture is just chef's kiss. And so here is me figuring out the colors. What I do first is do a really messy sketch, kind of just jotting down the colors that I want it to be. And this could take me a little while because I'm not very good with colors, honestly. I know color theory, but I just kind of ignore it, which isn't good. Don't do that. So it can take me a little while to find colors that I like, that give the setting and the mood of the picture that I want. And so once I figured that all out, I can then begin actually shading the piece. And I'm not quite sure why I went straight into shading. Luckily, I then realized what I was doing, because usually I highlight and I just kind of figure out where the highlights are. And I've already done that, so it made it a lot easier, but I just placed in some slight highlights. And so then it's a lot easier to then figure out where the shadows are, obviously. I do that, and then I try and stay as zoomed out of the piece as possible so I can see the tones. And I can just make sure that the composition of the piece is how I like it. This probably wasn't the best piece to show you my process because I actually am not that proud of it. I'm not quite sure how I wanted it to turn out, but it definitely wasn't like this, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay. And then once I have the lighting and the shadows how I want them, I then go in with a deep blue and then lower the opacity. I then change the hues and the contrast to how I want it, add some grain, and then comes my favorite bit. Here I add the final touches in Ibis Paint. This is where I duplicate the layer. I then make a new layer and set that to overlay. I can then go onto filters and then go into artistic and then click noise. And here are my settings. And then I can just adjust the layer opacity to how I want it. And then I go onto the duplicated layer, set that to hard light, and then go back into filter, and then go onto style, and then bevel, I think is how you say it, or it's like bevel, I don't know. Those are my settings if you want to copy those. And then I then adjust that to how I want it as well. One final thing I do is I desperately try to find textures that I want to add to the piece and just set that to overlay and adjust the brightness to the textures as well. Although this video will probably only be like 5 minutes, this whole process actually probably took me around 3 to 4 hours. I know this was really brief, so if there is anything about the process that you want me to make a video about, then let me know in the comments and I can definitely do that. But that's everything for now, so thank you for watching. Thank you so much to my patrons. I'm working towards making art my full-time career, so supporting me on Patreon would really, really help that. And by supporting me, you'll also get work in progresses, behind the scenes, be able to take part in art requests, and lots of other stuff like that. So thank you so much. And if you're unable to do that, then just liking the video and or leaving a comment is just as amazing. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.